as it stands right now, there's a lot of places in the world that Call of Duty World War II actually is live. Now, it could still be a few hours away until you end up seeing this, or maybe you're seeing this after the launch. You've come to the channel here after having already installed the game, playing it out, checking it out for yourselves, or maybe you're killing some time, whatever it may be. We are on the cusp of, if not already there for some people, for the launch of World War II. And as it stands, I ended up getting an early copy here of the game, and so therefore I can put up all sorts of different things for you guys to help you out, either in tips, tricks, news, information, whatever it may be. And so in this particular video, I want to showcase everything about the headquarters within Call of Duty World War II for you guys, because I personally believe this is the biggest leap in innovation in the Call of Duty franchise. Might be a bold statement, but it truly is something else that really enhances not only the social aspect of Call of Duty, but also pretty much everything that we know of thus far. Everything the past couple of years has kind of come into a more well-crafted version, and is now a centralized location for everything that we can see. So that said, in this one, we're taking a look at absolutely everything, detailing and explaining every aspect of the headquarters that you can see. So that said, let's jump right into it. Firstly, the one thing that you're going to start out with, and I believe even if you end up jumping into the game, you're prompted to start with this, is the mail station. This is where you can pick up daily payroll, any downloadable content, and essentially your one-stop shop for digital items. So you'll notice in the footage that Carrington is there in my case, and it will probably be there along with the zombies camo and such once you redeem the codes if you need to, assuming you don't have the digital deluxe version, but I'd assume that camos later on down the line as well, and other drop content or specific promotional material or extra camos as well, as we've seen them be labeled, will end up being there as well. But as for payroll, that's the other big part of the mail station. Every 4 hours you can pick up credits. Now, armory credits are the only in-game currency as of now, and they're not like crypto keys or anything like that, so they're more so like the original COD points from Black Ops. They're used to buy contracts from the Quartermaster, and also you can end up buying different collection items with these armory credits as well too. So once again, very similar to the Black Ops system in the contract aspect, and then a little bit of a new innovation for that with how it's done with the variants and other collection items as well too. But that said, talking a little bit about contracts and collections, let's head over to the Quartermaster and check that out. So once you're headed over to the Quartermaster tent, just to the left of where you actually spawn in headquarters, you'll be greeted by our master and by a prompt to enter either contracts or collections. So let's break it down into both and check them out. Contracts, as we mentioned, are just like Black Ops' system, in which you buy them for the ability to attempt the challenge connected with that contract. Now, the price ranges depend on how hard the challenge is, and they each have their own reward systems, some being XP and some being rare supply drops, which, by the way, I think it's now a cool time to mention supply drops. In World War II, instead of going to the Quartermaster or designated area for drops, you simply hold the right trigger down in headquarters and it will bring up a menu in the bottom right in which you can choose from that either your supply drops, rare supply drops, zombie supply drops, or rare zombie supply drops, to which, after selecting which you want, you can walk over to wherever you want to place it and then drop your signal flare to mark the DZ, and then it'll drop and come down and you'll get what you've earned. And then also, players can watch this in real time as it happens. But drops aside, contracts range anywhere from 10 minutes to 40 minutes from what I've seen at least, and all once again depending on the difficulty and the amount you pay for them. Now, collections are the next function of the Quartermaster, and nearly identical to the Modern Warfare Mastered system, COD World War II has a collection system in which there are tiered rewards leading up to what is ultimately a variant of an existing weapon. At the time being, we probably know that later on down the line there's going to be DLC weapons thrown in the mix here, in which you can end up getting, once again, that same tiered system to unlock whatever you want, but for the time being, that ultimate unlock right now is a variant of an existing weapon. Now, to unlock it, you'll need to complete a collection, and that can be done either by randomly chipping away at the collection items with supply drop luck, or you can save up your depot credits and actually get the variants yourself, essentially buying them. Now, collections right now hold a ton of calling cards, character gear sets, and of course, a variant per weapon, each with a 10% XP bonus and having some nice zombies perks that transfer over as well, which is definitely a cool factor. And whether or not, once again, we see DLC weapons, I think that's just a matter of time, but as for right now, the system is very nice and of course, definitely something you should check out. Now, in a similar fashion to the Quartermaster in the way of contracts, the operations bunker led by Major Howard is where players can pick up daily and weekly orders in order to gain supply drops, social score, 25 bonus weapon XP for certain periods of time, armory credits, and double XP for a certain period of time. Now what's nice about these is that they're easy, don't cost you any armory credits to activate, and they refresh on a regular basis. Plus, unlike Black Ops 3's contract system, the daily and weekly contracts are not limited to one per day or one per week. Players can actually complete multiple if they choose to do so, and there are a cycle of them that cycle through that offer a fantastic selection. So definitely something I think that is very nice. Now the last thing that we'll see in the starting area of headquarters is the firing range. Now we saw a little bit about this at E3, but we didn't get to see it in the beta. Now this is of course where we can test our weapons, check out camos, check out variants, and of course pop a few rounds off to check out our accuracy. It's pretty straightforward and very well done, I believe. What I really enjoy is the smooth transition into first person, having the rest of the headquarters in third person. So it's a nice transition, and I think that they actually really did it really well, not only in design, but in the execution as well. It feels incredibly fluid and is definitely a nice little animation here. But nonetheless, there's a lot left, so let's get going on to that. Next thing up on our journey down the hillside in headquarters comes at the left side of the hill, and this is the theater. Now unfortunately, it's not as great as it may sound, and though it's an awesome idea, I'm not sure how much I'll be using it personally, as it's simply just for Call of Duty films like the making of documentary and MLG videos and streams in the future. Now, once again, while it's cool to watch in a social environment, theater may not be exactly what you were hoping for in World War II, but still nonetheless, it's there and you can utilize it how you feel fit. Now, next up, we have the emblem gallery on the way down the hill, and this is at the time of making it still incomplete and home to a few coming soon notices about sharing different emblems, and the ability to create, upload, and share to me sounds pretty cool. As I mentioned in a previous video, I'm really hoping that we have the ability to do this and download specific user-created content, just because I think that would add a whole new level of the social interaction, and I think that it could absolutely flourish, but we'll have to see. There actually might be legal implications and hurdles that need to be taken into account, believe it or not, but I guess we'll see in time with that nonetheless. However, moving on, the next thing there is score streak training, and that personally is awesome. You can practice throws, uses, targeting, all that with any of the streaks in the game, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. And now that I think about that, actually, the secret hidden streak is not in this, so unfortunately you can't jump into that and test that out, but nonetheless, anything that is user controlled or even AI controlled, you can end up trying it out for yourself in the score streak training. Now, it felt great to use, and to finally see it in action was awesome, and it's going to be a fun place, I think, perhaps to warm up the sticks here and there, which, by the way, you'll see by some of the footage, the ball turret gunner is wild, man. If you can get a hold of that, GG's to you, because that's where it's going to be. It felt exactly like the OG chopper gunner from Modern Warfare 2. So I'm excited to get my hands on some of these streaks, the higher ones, and of course, it'll be definitely nice to see them in action outside of the score streak training, but nonetheless, that's going to move us over into R&R, our next stop, rest and relaxation, and I think this one is actually fantastic. It's more of a whimsical thing and something that you might not pay too much attention to, but if you end up paying some armory credits, you can actually play classic Activision arcade games in COD World War II. And to me, this is such a great Easter egg, if you want to call it that, just because it puts that sense of an arcade into the headquarters. Not only is that great, but it's just so cool to see these classic games that are also under the Activision wing back in some capacity here within World War II. Now, we saw some cool stuff like this in Infinite Warfare, in Spaceland Zombies and stuff like that, but I think that this is just absolutely so cool as is. Now, the next big stop is the Gunsmith, in which we have a load of options here. And from those options, right now, you can prestige your weapon, create a paint shop camo, craft, and upload them as well, too. Now, those, once again, are donned in the coming soon notice, but that very well could be unlocked once the game goes live for everybody on that day one update patch, whatever you want to call it, that comes out once the game ends up hitting the shelves and the market for everybody. And if that's the case, that's quite possible it could unlock that. But once again, it comes back to it may be possible to share and download paint jobs from the community, though, something that I again think would be unreal and amazing to see. Now, the weapon prestige thing, though, that is available as of right now allows you to access a few things. Firstly, we do know that it will, 1, restart your weapon, start it all the way back at level 1. You have to unlock everything and progress that rank once again, but it will incrementally give you rewards as well, too, such as your clan tag on your weapon and a kill counter like Black Ops 3. Now, the tag is rewarded at Prestige 1, and the kill counter is presumably Prestige 2. Now, jumping over directly behind the Gunsmith, actually tucked away in the hillside, is an underground bunker in which you can go to, and that is something that is a little bit more minor in compared to other things here in the headquarters. headquarters. It's for zombies, so it will simply just take you to the zombies menu, but it is a way to actually end up physically looking at zombies and then going and entering into the mode itself. So kind of a cool little way, instead of just backing out to a main menu to end up getting to zombies, you can actually just do it via a little bit of a bunker within the actual headquarters itself. So nice little feature here, I think, that once again just kind of makes it a more unified process instead of having to back out and do everything there. Now there's one final thing outside of the Prestige Overlook that is accessible in the headquarters right now, and that is the 1v1 pit, to where you can end up actually going and challenging players to the death, and it's a best of 3 series here in which the first one of 3 kills wins, but it is something that looks absolutely awesome. Personally, I did not jump into this just yet because I was too busy trying to grind out other things, but I watched a couple of people. I watched Incredilag and Drifter actually go at it, almost immediately jumping into the headquarters whenever I first got the game installed and everything like that. And it was a lot of fun to watch it and how it worked out. It was seriously a very tense 1v1 situation, which if you like to challenge different members of the community, this is going to be perfect for you. Now the final things in headquarters once again come back to that Prestige Overlook, which I personally have not entered into yet. I'm about halfway through the Prestige, I believe, in like 2 hours of game time or something like that. But you also have the ability to prestige your division just outside of that Prestige Overlook, which is definitely nice, I think, here as well too. So definitely very cool and something that caps off our headquarters experience in a great way. So that said, that's been everything accessible to you guys on day 1, or I guess pre-release for headquarters. Some of the stuff like the coming soon stuff may end up being added in at some point with that day 1 update, but for right now, that's everything in headquarters. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, I think that this, even though it's a bold prediction statement, is probably the biggest innovation to Call of Duty in years. And I cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on it if you guys have not done so already. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of cool stuff here that you can play around with, and it's just going to be an overall good time. So that said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this brief rundown and complete overview of everything we have here in the headquarters. Hopefully it was insightful. Hopefully it helped you out in some way, shape, or form, and hopefully you guys did enjoy. So that said, if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Call of Duty World War II. We're gonna be killing it with the content, so anything that you need to know, we'll be keeping you guys up to date with everything here on it. So if you guys don't want to miss a beat, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss absolutely anything. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube. I practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. Keep it right here up on the channel, though, for more uploads coming and some ones that have already come out. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. Thank you guys so much for sticking around. Hype for World War II. Hopefully you guys are as well. Mine has been Espresso. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, and peace.